So I wrote an article last night all about cannabis and driving, and particularly road safety in Colorado, and how that there's a good chance, I think, that cannabis increases in cannabis use have led to lower traffic fatalities in Colorado, or have at least contributed to it. And in the process of writing that article, I read quite a few research papers about cannabis and driving safety, and I read one in particular that assessed people's composite driving score, which assesses multiple factors associated with driving ability, and it found that acute cannabis intoxication did cause a significant worsening in the CDS composite driving score of the participants that took part in the study. They're instructed to not smoke cannabis for 2 days before the study, so they would have lost a degree of their tolerance and would have gotten like really quite high, I suppose, when they've been smoking cannabis again for the study, and this would have impaired their driving ability. And for 90% of people reading that sort of paper, they will skim it, or they will read it and only take the message they want to take from it that accords with their prejudices, and not read it properly and not reach this crucial paragraph in the primary outcomes section of the paper, wherein it states that all three groups who were involved in the study, the 15% the 15% THC group, the 5% THC group, and the placebo group, all three groups did not crash in the simulator. What does that say? I mean, come on, like, yeah, it lowers the CDS score, the composite driving score, possibly for things like slowed reaction time, driving under the speed limit, increased following distance, and so on. And slow drivers on the road can be annoying, but I think they are undeniably safer. And this is really just a bit of propaganda that's been put out by probably the lobbyists against cannabis laws, and against cannabis legalization, and propped up by all the huge numbers of organizations and people in the world who are desperate for cannabis to remain illegal because it'll hurt their profits in one way or another, or because with their prejudicial attitude they just don't like it. And the results of the test are very clear. CDS scores have been lowered with people with acute cannabis intoxication, which disappears after 4.5 hours. But nonetheless, people who are high on cannabis are at no greater risk of crashing a vehicle than a placebo group. So yeah, the results are actually very clear, and you need to learn how to interpret this sort of research if you're going to understand the truth.